For research background, happiness is pleasure, passion, and purpose according to Aristotle 2018. Happy individuals have a positive attitude on life, healthy interpersonal connection, and social support from others. On the other hand, career motivation is an individual work-related nature, direction, intensity, and retention. Job motivation theory includes features and action that suggest career identity, career factor, and desire to achieve career goals. Career motivation affects employee performance, dedication, effort, and work happiness. This keeps the company efficient and competitive. Past studies have shown that there is an effect of career motivation and leadership style on work discipline and its effect on employees' performance of the things that contribute to the success and organization is its ability to motivate its employees. So the problem statement is divided into that is career motivation has not been studied accurately. Secondly, career motivation is the drive to invest effort to achieve job satisfaction, and the last one is most researchers use a qualitative approach.
As for the research objective, there is general and specific objectives. The general objective is to examine the relationship between career motivation and happiness among private sector employees, whereas the specific objectives will consist of three objectives, which is to determine the relationship between career insight and happiness among private sector employees, to determine the relationship between career resilience and happiness among private sector employees, and the last one is to determine the relationship between career identity and happiness among private sector employees. Next, on the research hypothesis, there is three hypotheses. First hypothesis, there is relationship between career insight and happiness among private sector employees. The second hypothesis, there is relationship between career resilience and happiness among private sector employees. And third hypothesis, there is relationship between career identity and happiness among private sector employees. Now let's look on the conceptual framework for this research. This framework shows an independent variable of three significant elements of career motivation, which is career identity, career resilience, and career insight that have links to the dependent variable, which is happiness among private sector employees. This framework was developed based on past research and related model or theory.
Of this research lies in the fact that we'll examine the relationship between career motivation and happiness experienced by private sector employees. This research may help organizations determine the impact that career motivation might have on the happiness experienced by their personnel. Next, this research must be conducted so that workers may have better insight into the relationship between career motivation and happiness. Finally, this study aims to determine whether the implication of career motivation are connected to the happiness among private sector employees.
Moving on to the chapter 2 on literature review for this research proposal. In this section, we will discuss on the issue, similar findings on past research and theory related to the relationship between career motivation and happiness. Firstly, we found that happiness at work is a motivating factor for a person to pursue a career. This is because a person's ability to adjust to changing circumstances is positively linked to their job satisfaction. To illustrate, accepting employment and organizational changes and continuing to work, and those who say they enjoy their professions are more likely to have a strong work ethic. Meanwhile, career motivation is linked to productive training behaviors, engagement in development activities, and employee career advancement and promotion. In the current study, career motivation was found to impact remuneration, self-reported career success, and performance positively. Following that, a study of 171 Ivory Coast agricultural entrepreneurs who owned their businesses and discovered that the more self-determined Ivorian agricultural entrepreneurs were, the happier and more content they were with their entrepreneurial careers. This is because people that score high on career identification tend to be very engaged in their work and organization, and they show a strong desire for promotion and progress. A person who has a high career resilience score is expected to adapt favorably to organizational changes. Thereby, a theory that is related to this research is Herzberg's theory of motivation. This theory distinguishes between motivators and hygiene factors, where work happiness requires balancing satisfiers with hygienic consideration. Consequently, career resilience, career insight, and career identity considered as motivator factors. Other than Herzberg's theory, Vroom's expectation theory is also related to our research, where Vroom's expectation theory proposed that people are motivated to behave in ways that produce desired and valued outcomes. It outlines various things that may motivate employees, such as adjusting the person's effort to performance expectation.
As for the Chapter 3, for research design, this study will use a correlation research design to examine the relationship between career motivation and happiness among private sector employees. For population, the simple sampling procedure will be used to select employees for this research. The employees from private sector will be represented by a sample size of 50 individuals. For research instrument, this study will use questionnaire as an instrument. This instrument is developed through adaptation based on the literature of related subjects. For pilot study, the questionnaire was pre-tested using a representative sample similar to but not the same as those who will be included in the actual research. For validity and reliability, researchers use principal component analysis (PCA) and exploratory factor analysis (EFA) to conduct a component analysis. This study will use the Cornbach alpha coefficients to assess reliability, looking at how well the questionnaire stand up to repeat administration.
As for the ethics of study, we will maintain the integrity of study process by obtaining consent of the respondents before involving them in this research. Secondly, respondents' privacy is guaranteed in this research since no personal data is collected from them. And most importantly, confidentiality is always maintained during the conduct of the research. This is because research ethics are moral principles that lead researchers to perform and disclose research without harming participants in the research, whether knowingly or unknowingly. Meanwhile, the research data collection procedure is firstly, the questionnaire are distributed to the sample target population. After that, the distributed survey will be collected and the quantity of questionnaire is double-checked and measured again. Finally, for data analysis, data will gather and analyze using SPSS software, which may give the study's required exact computations. Therefore, the data will be examined using descriptive and inferential statistics. And that is the end of our presentation. Thank you.